in this last and concluding part, I would like to touch upon the futuristic, that means possibilities, futuristic possibilities of biotechnologies, and also a little bit on bioprospecting like drug from sea, because this also form an integral part of aquaculture. Here you can just see that ornamental fish breeding and trade, where do we stand? This is one area we have been talking about the ornamental trade and breeding and export, but India is still in the just first starting level only, because other countries like Taiwan or maybe Singapore or even Israel, they have made tremendous achievements and in the aquariculture, that means the aquarium fish breeding and rearing and trading, and this is one of the most enjoyable hobby across the world. But you look at these possibilities lying in the this particular aquarium trade. Mostly at present, if you look at we are in the freshwater domain, the commonly known ornamental fishes, but in the export, that means we are very, it is very minimal, and even the values are not even significant to quote. So other than the internal trade of the freshwater aquarium fishes, we can catch upon by applying novel breeding techniques and almost matching, and India is such a huge country, we have got so many novel species, it is unexplored species. So again, by applying our induced breeding and rearing using the feed, we can rear these fishes, and we could able to make a total this particular sector. And India is so much of abundance is there, and our share is almost, you can say that something like 0.5% of the world export trade. And again here we are mostly not even rearing and exporting, mostly is a wild catch, that is again it is a question mark. And you can see that here what you can see that by breeding of ornamental, you can create most beautiful novel live aquarium species, and it fetches very high market, and these are all mostly it is from Taiwanese, and even the trade has gone to such a level that almost like designer clothing in the fashion industry, you can breed and make designer aquarium fishes using our all the biotechnological tools, again breeding, manipulating, feeding, and stock improvement. You see most interesting thing, these are all for example, fish keepers may love a new variety of fish like this magnificent flower horn photographed in aquarium. So aquarium, there is an annual event is there, so we are not even able to make even a small presence in that. And here is a typical you can see the clownfish at the bottom, but now in Singapore already they have produced transgenic aquarium fish, the zebra fish, means it is a fluorescence. We can introduce, we know the biotechnology, we have fluorescent genes, we were able to isolate from species like jellyfishes, and now so many colorful fluorescent genes are there. You can have blue, green, red, and so all these colors, so we by introducing this into the ornamental fish, we will get again transgenic glowing fish. Though transgenic fishes, food fishes are not acceptable or allowed in India, aquarium level it is possible, because we are not allowing them to escape into the nature. So this whole area you can see that when Singapore, they have bred the zebra fish, the most common ordinary freshwater fish, and then they introduce a gene into it, they are selling it for something like $5 to $6 a piece. So we will be able to, you can see that different colors of these fluorescent fish, red, orange, yellow, green, wild type. So it is having a huge attraction in the market, and the Taiwanese they were able to even put the fluorescent gene combination, so the blue and green, and this gives us beautiful and fantastic colors in aquarium, and this trade is very skillful. You can say the product is totally an outcome of the biotechnological manipulations. And even even we have got our clownfish. I think CMFRA has already bred the clownfish, and the other one is a freshwater fish is called Miss Kerala from Kerala, is Puntius denisoni. All these fishes, by establishing and scaling up the breeding technology and even adding value, we can really have to get a piece of the export trade from India, and thereby it's again this is a scope of new research, again new entrepreneurship and new business. And these are the brackish water aquarium fishes we were able to breed in our CIBA. And here, once we have the complete technology in an aquarium trade, you need to breed it in the hatchery. You need a hatchery reared fishes, and then we have got a feed. And we have got the technology of how to the aquarium rearing is there. So in that way, this can be a full package. Here we have seen the blue damsel. You may think that it's a marine fish, but this marine fish, once the young ones can be adapted to the brackish water, so that we would be able to manipulate. In the bottom side, what you are seeing is the popular fish called Etroplus, that's from Kerala. And two species, both are being used as an ornamental fishes in the aquarium. When it is supported by the other feed and accessories, this trade can be completed, and it's a very good business. And this is one very common fish called rice fish, and we have bred it in CIBA. And suppose we were able to introduce a gene into it, a fluorescent gene, you can imagine this transparent fish glowing around in the aquarium. And once this breeding is done, seed is there, we need to develop a formulated and right feed for these small fishes, because there again the size micro feeds we have to develop. At present, the total aquarium feeds, quality feeds are being imported in the country. Now in CMFRA and later in CIBA, we were able to produce our own feed. It is called functional feed. So this sector, once you make and refine this technology, we can able to make a mark. The other area is that marine bioprospecting. You just look at terrestrially, we have almost exploit the resource available. I am talking about the microbes and whatever resource available, and almost we have looked into the diversity, how we can use it. But you look at the sea, almost 75% resources available in the sea. And nowadays, you know that antibiotic resistance is an issue. In human pathogens, the antibiotic resistance has been increased, and we need to look at novel antibiotics, etc. We need to look at more into oceans. The time has come, and ocean harbors the largest biodiversity of the fauna and flora, and these represent a vast untapped resource with potential benefits in many different areas such as pharmaceuticals and aquaculture, fish health applications. So this is very important to tap and to identify the target organisms and to put the right studies on it and try to extract whatever the thing possible from these resources. It is recorded that 7% of the ocean and 1% of the ocean floor has been sampled till date, and over 93% of the ocean still remain unexplored, and thus the current state of knowledge regarding its biodiversity and distribution is extremely poor. What is this shows that we need to put a lot of basic studies and understanding of science into it, so eventually we can take it into the applied level. In developed countries, it is all being done, and you can say that the potential business developed from is something like around 200 billion, and they say calculated it will be reaching something of this figure by 2020. But in India, we are just in the initial stages, and here you can see the interplay of the science what is required. You need marine biological studies, then once you need the species and the characteristics, then you need all kind of knowledge, maybe in biochemistry, maybe pharmaceuticals, pharmacology, toxicology, to approach towards drug what we are aiming. And again, once you need to have a very good understanding about the organic chemistry, natural product synthesis and molecular modeling. What is that means? That you can see that again it reflects the basic science domain. In all kind of science need to be coming and working together. Suppose we are targeting at something like drug development from seas, and you see that the scope of exploitation opportunities from the ocean, it is huge. And suppose you come and strike with some say a pharmaceutical product, maybe a new antibiotics, the volume of the business or what the benefits what we can make is huge, but effort required is huge. You can see that the flow of the, it start with a million, maybe a species, and when we narrow down to maybe in thousands, and finally you can see the figure. The chance of a success is something like very, very minuscule. That means the effort what we have to put in this kind of endeavor, it should be long term, and it should be knowledge driven, and there should be a combined effort. It should be an holistic effort, because in India we all know that many times we, even scientific institutions and people, we work in compartments. The most important for the present time is that to harmonize all these expertise and the strength what we have, and with very target oriented program. So when you come into the ocean, and when we talk about the marine bioprospecting or even bioprospecting from the aquaculture products, it is a new area, and we, if you wanted to make it, and you see that nowadays you are listening a lot thing about nanotechnology, because nanotechnology is being now using in all kinds of area. So you need new nanomaterials which is having unique characteristic make it. So generally they say that in all these things are still lying there in the ocean. Maybe we may be able to find out new nanomaterials and nano products which can be directly applied in our the present day. That is it's almost a kind of novel area. And they see that one of the nano material used in the nano production from our aquatics is the chitosan. That is actually, chitosan is produced from the shrimp shell, and now this product is itself using in a wide spectrum of use. It's just one example. We may be able to, and recently some researchers have find out some kind of microbes and maybe microalgae, and these also can be maybe diatoms, they can used as nanomaterials. That means we are only just touching this the huge possibilities or treasure how what we are holding in our things. And this genomics like area, we know that now after the human genome are sequenced, we are looking at in the genome level. Definitely this genome mapping, sequencing, I have already shown you that even in our pathogen we have done full genome sequencing. Many of us are looking at the genome level, and once genomic information is extracted by genomic information, it is not at all useful. We need to analyze it. It is a huge area called bioinformatics. In this area, bioinformatics and artificial intelligence has been put. We can even have prediction of the models, maybe drug discovery and interpreting. And even in institutions like us, we are now looking at full genome of Indian white shrimp. We already have the mitochondrial genome, full genome. All this knowledge will eventually take us into new products or new solutions, and this will be a driver of taking this aquaculture and fishery sector forward. This is one thing I have showed that in future maybe we will be able to produce. Now tissue culture has come, we started growing organs in the petri dish in the laboratory. Maybe a time will come using this new technology we will be able to grow the meat in the laboratory. That means factories may come where suppose a CIBA, a factory may maybe there they can able to produce CIBAs in the factory, rather than the advantage is that we need not to use the environment as such and the water, the problem of pollution extra may not come. These are all the possibilities already happening, but definitely in the future it is going to come. But then all these 4 quarters what I was talking, we can see that it is such a vast area. It is practically not able to bring down in a 1 hour talk, and similarly it is not able to achieve and do these kind of things in individual institution. We need you can see this particular table. We want all these agencies and institutions and come together and work together. When you are doing that, definitely our India, we will be definitely coming an era that will belong to the biological science. And they say in earlier we have got green revolution, we may be having a gene revolution, and all these human resource of the students on graduate level, maybe postgraduate level and doctorate level, and all the scientific institutions and all will come together. New opportunities will come, and definitely this outcome will be really good for this country. And aquaculture as such is a very good sector, the outcome will produce food and employment and prosperity, that is economical benefit. This is what the country need to get into the future and for the upliftment or the growth of all the society. With this come to this end of this talk. Basically what I try to do is that to touch upon the fisheries, then to go to the biotechnology and bring everything together. So the possibilities, at least this will give you a total possibilities lying in this fisheries sector, where biotechnology is one of the major driver, because in future it is going to be knowledge driven society.